Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp and Chance. I am your host, Bobby Sampson. I am joined with the man right there beside me. His name is Mr. Chance Michaels. Chance, how are you, buddy?
Not too shabby. How about yourself?
Can't complain, man. It's fucking cold, but I guess that
It's cold.
goes with the time of the year. Other than that, everything is beautiful. Can't complain. Everybody, before we get into the show here, remember, look at the bottom of your screen, just down there. And like and subscribe, man, to all our different platforms. We're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook and Instagram. You can catch us on Spotify, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, you can catch us
Yep.
on YouTube if that's what you're watching right now. Is there any other place they can find us?
I think
Or
that's
did
pretty
I
much it,
cover
man.
them
You
all?
covered it all.
All right, so we got all that taken care of. Before we get into anything else, last Saturday night, David Morrell, an up and coming prospect, like number one of the top prospects in the super middleweight division, fought a Kazakhstan fighter by the name of, and I apologize in advance if I've butchered his name. I've been practicing it for the last 2 hours. Adios, your bossy Nuli.
Pretty good, man.
Thank you. Unfortunately, this fight was really, really good. I was really enjoying watching it all. We got to the 12th round here, and he got knocked down. Yasser Yasser Basanuri. He got knocked down. He got back up, but then he got knocked down a second time, and that's when the referee finally stopped the fight. The guy he was really beaten up. He was out of it, and to the point that Morel looked back and helped him to his corner. I mean, first off, great sportsmanship.
Hmm.
That's awesome. We got to see more of that in the sport. Uh, Unfortunately for him, he got taken away on a stretcher. They put him in a induced coma, and I don't know what to say. Just things like this when that happens, it's really unfortunate.
Sad.
So our prayers and best wishes are out to him and his family, hoping for a speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
Latest update we have right now is that he's in stable but in critical condition. Not sure if he's still in the coma that wasn't released or anything like that. But yeah, that's basically,
Sad.
not the way I want to start the show, but unfortunately, those are the things that we have to remember before anything else. As much as we love everything here, um, the health of these guys is the world to us, right? It's
Boxing
a
probably the most dangerous sport in the world. Even probably more dangerous than MMA. Because in MMA you get a punch head, you can grapple the guy down. Here you just get punched in the head, punch in the head. Your brain's
yeah,
just constantly moving around. Not meant to
yeah,
move around like that.
yeah. I was looking at something earlier in the week, and I don't remember who the boxer was, but he went down from a shot that he took he took to the back of the head, and he went down, and even the commentators thought he was faking. And
Yeah.
it turned out that the guy had bleeding inside his head,
Yeah. It's such a dangerous, vicious sport.
right? So it's just I just want people to be aware that as much as we love seeing the good punch and the good shot and the great knockouts that we get to see, remember these are human beings, guys, and they're putting a lot on the line to keep us entertained, to allow us to do these podcasts. Um,
And to make a ton of money for themselves too. But yes, you're right.
at the end of the day, they're putting their lives on the line for us, for our entertainment.
And for
So
a ton of money, yeah.
this is beyond money, bro. I mean,
Well,
but
they fight to become
no,
rich, right?
I get it, but that's not the point here. The point is it's just they sacrifice a lot for us, right?
No, they do. Yeah.
And when they get hurt and stuff like that, money is the last thing on my mind for
No,
for
I
them.
agree, but what I'm
But
saying
I
is
know what you're saying. I get what you're
they
saying, man.
fight to get paid. They want to get paid as much as they can. They
Man,
sell
that
their own
shit.
mom out to get a big paycheck. It's dangerous. I respect what they do, but it's for the money, right?
Maybe we
It's
should
still
start
sad. You
calling
won't see
you.
anybody injured in anything, right?
Well, in some things maybe, but not everything.
Yeah, but hopefully he makes a good recovery, speedy recovery. So
I hope so. I don't know if he'll come back to the ring. I mean, after something like that, it's kind of, I
I
don't know
hope
what
not.
commission would give him an opportunity again, right? So,
Yeah,
all right. So that's kind of taken care of. Best wishes to him and his family.
yeah.
WBC had their conference this week, Chance,
Yeah,
and
I
a
seen that.
whole
I read
bunch
about
of
it. Yeah.
and a whole bunch of fights were announced, and I got a bit of a list here.
And not
So,
one that anybody wants to see. They're
well,
good, but not
no,
great.
I think they're all kind of cool matches here. Deontay Wilder against Andy Ruiz. This is the final eliminator to see who's going to take on Tyson Fury again. I'm kind of hoping Andy Ruiz wins just because I don't want to see a fourth fight between
I don't
Deontay.
think he will because right after this, Tyson's once he beats Derek, he's going to fight Usyk, and they're saying like March 23rd, Usyk and him are going to fight. So it'll be a
Well,
while.
yeah,
We'll
I
see
know it'll
what.
be a while, but regardless of that, whoever wins this is mandatory,
Yeah,
the mandatory challenger for the WBC heavyweight title. Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman. I wasn't sure about this one. I'm still not sure about this one, but you know what? If it's mandatory, it's mandatory. I mean, Keith Thurman's only had 2 fights in the last 3 years. I don't see how he can become, the next
Errol
in line
Spence will
for a
probably win
title
by
shot.
decision, but Keith will give him a tough fight.
Yeah, no, Keith will give him a tough fight. Just it's kind of weird. It kind of makes me think that Crawford's really dodging the real challenges here. I mean, considering who
Seems
he's
that way.
fighting, well, considering who he's fighting, and again, you know what? No disrespect to who he's fighting. I mean, at the end of the day, he's probably 10 times better, 150 times better than I'd ever be in the ring. So, respect to him from that perspective, but he's
Yeah, but
not
that
at
doesn't
that
count.
level. He's
So
not
we're
at
not.
that level of a Terrence Crawford, right? Where Keith Thurman here is more of a level guy. So,
Yeah,
respect
top
to
three or
Errol.
four.
So it's a tough fight there. This is a fight that I'm really interested in. I'm looking forward to David Benavidez against Caleb Plant. That's going to
I've seen
probably
that. Yeah,
be happening in February or something like that. That should be a great fight. The winner of this is a mandatory for Canelo.
should be a fun fight. Yeah, I
Like,
like
I
that.
mean, at the end of the day, I like Caleb Plant a lot, but I want to see David Benavidez win just so now Canelo has no chance to run away from him.
Have to fight him. Yeah.
He has to fight him or give up his title. He gives up his title, he just really solidifies
They
and
always find
cements.
ways to make the. You can wait for the next fight. They say mandatory, but they always find loopholes to dodge for the big money fights.
Next one here, Shakir Stevenson, personal favorite of mine, going up against another personal favorite of mine, Isaac Cruz. This is going to be a hell of a fight at
Bivol, yeah, that's a
135.
good one.
That's going to be a fun fight, man. I think this is probably one of the first real challenges for Shakur because Pitbull's no joke,
No, he's not. He's going to give him a tough
right?
fight. I think Shakur takes it, but it's going to be a tough fight.
I mean, in a lot of ways, this guy gave Javante Davis a hard time,
He did. He's a
right?
good fighter.
He's
Tough.
great. I really
They
enjoy
call
him.
him Pitbull for a reason.
Yeah. Tiafimo, another favorite, a personal favorite of mine. He's going up against Sandor Martin. Interesting fight,
Tune-up fight.
tune-up fight, but it's kind of cool. Good to see them going.
Yeah.
And Stephen Fulton against Brandon Figueroa the second. So those are
nice.
basically the fights that we kind of have coming up here in the
Good
next little while.
Fights. The Shakur Cruz one's the best fight, but all the fights you just listed are none of the fights that the fans want to see. Yes, Spence and Thurman is great. We want Spence and Crawford. Wilder and Ruiz is good. We want Wilder and Joshua. So you know what I mean? They're good, but they're not. Besides the Shakur Stevenson fight, they're not great fights. They're not the fights that everybody wants to see. They're good, but they're not what they should be.
Okay, when you say everybody, let me just clarify that. Are you talking about boxing fans or the casual fans?
Everybody.
Okay,
everybody.
well, I tell you what.
People would rather see Keith Thurman versus Spence and Crawford instead of Keith Thurman, right?
No, 100%. There's a lot more better fights that can
Still,
be
it's
made.
not
But you know
bad.
what? This is a good list. I mean, it's a good
Yeah.
direction. This should lead to better fights. Let's hope. Keep our fingers
Let's hope.
crossed. I hear what you're saying, but yeah, no, you know what? Let's just kind of roll with it, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of fights that have happened, Bivol against Zurdo Ramirez. I think it was a masterclass for 10 rounds. I'd say I give Zurdo the second and third round. Other than that, I mean, Bivol is for real, man. Like that dude is serious, right? Not only can he control speed, but he controls distance very, very well.
Not knocking. He's not really putting a big hurting on his opponents, but he's winning the fights. He's hitting the shots. He's, like you said, controlling the distance. He knows when to turn it on, when to turn it off. But he's not finishing guys. I don't think guys are scared of him physically. He's winning on points, but he's not like he didn't really have him hurt too much. A little, you know what I mean? He didn't really have him where he thought he could finish him.
Yeah, no, I mean he didn't, but I mean again, it's just more of a practitioner kind of Floyd style, like you just pick away, get your points in, and that's what he basically did. It's what he did against Canelo as well, right? So I mean,
maybe Gilberto had maybe 3 rounds if you want to be generous, but yeah,
I gave him 2. I gave him 2 and 3. You know, definitely to at
The
least
10th round, I noticed that Bivol took the foot off the gas a little bit, and 11th and 12th, he turned it up and just, closed the deal.
absolutely. So I mean, because he knew he had control of the fight.
Yeah.
Which leads me to this now. I don't want to see him fight Canelo. I want to see him fight Beterbiev.
Better be
That's the fight.
37 years old, so he's got to get the fight soon because he's only getting older.
Well, I think that's what's next on line. We'll probably see that in the springtime. I think probably March, April. I would like to see that fight. I mean, it's perfect timing. Both guys have had their fights. You know
Yeah.
that they're kind of lined up to kind of face each other and unify these belts, man. Unify
That's
them.
what Bivol says he wants to do, so maybe that'll be his next fight. Maybe he'll make Canelo wait. Canelo, hey, you know
Well,
what? I don't blame Bivol. Canelo made him wait. He fought Triple G. Bivol wanted to fight him right away, and Canelo said, no, I'm fighting Triple G. So I wouldn't blame Bivol if he made him wait. I'm going to fight Beterbiev first, and if you're still around, then we'll do it then.
I think it makes more sense for him to fight for his own legacy and accomplish the things that he needs to in his own division to be that dominant guy that we know he can be. And it's only going to happen if he takes that fight, right?
He'll fight Canelo eventually. They'll get it on eventually.
They'll get it on eventually. I mean, Canelo, like I said, it's on the shelf. He's got problems of his own, right?
Yeah, the wrist
That
surgery.
the wrist surgery, that and whatnot, and having guys like Charlo, Benavidez, people in his own division saying, "Hey, where are you, pal?" Right?
Yeah,
You keep dodging us.
but I don't blame them for them calling him out. He's the king of the mountain in that division. They're going to call him out. They want the money fight, right? I don't blame them. You can't answer everybody that calls you out. We are
No,
that
no,
on Canelo
no.
level, right?
No, that's fine. Yeah, but the fact is, these guys have been calling him out for the last 3 years, and he's taking every other fight but. So in a way, I'm kind of happy WBC is kind of mandating things now a little bit,
Sort of, yeah.
to kind of force him into the fights that people want to see. I
I'm
mean,
not a Canelo fan by any means. I can't stand
no,
it.
I don't
But what I'm
like him.
saying is he's got to take the money fights too, right? I
Yeah,
get
but you
what
know
he's
what
doing.
though? Then strip him of the titles. It's not everything. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's the thing. Here's the thing: the fight, like you've talked earlier about fights that people want to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
Benavidez Canelo is a fight that people want to see.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
The only one running away is Canelo, right?
Yeah, but he's a little bit older. He's doing for the Floyd Mayweather playbook. He's making these guys wait. He's making these guys chase him. He's making these guys age. He's playing the long game, right? He doesn't care what the average Joe says. Oh, your legacy. Well, he's thinking about this. That's all he's thinking
Yeah,
about. Same thing Floyd did. Floyd waited Manny out 6-7 years, right?
yeah. No, fair
Sleazy,
play.
but that's how he's playing it. He learned from
I,
Floyd, right?
yeah, well, it's not the way to do
I'm
it.
not saying it's right, but that's
No, no,
what.
no, and this is why UFC and MMA
Absolutely.
is
You
doing
told the
so
fight.
much better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
getting
you're
the.
fighting this guy. Yeah.
Like, for example, this weekend we have UFC 281. Who would have thought that we would see Israel Adesanya defend his title against Alex Pereira this quickly?
I know.
So to give you some context on that, Chance, I'm sure you already know, but for the fans, let's give them some context. Israel Adesanya came from the world of kickboxing before becoming into MMA. He had an amazing record. He only had 2 losses on his record.
Yep.
Both losses came to Alex Pereira in boxing. The first one was a decision. The second time he knocked him out. Okay. Alex Pereira came to the UFC. He's only had 2 fights, and they're making this the title fight now.
Yeah, I think his MMA record's like 6-1 or something like that.
6-1, but he's only had 2 fights in the UFC. He's ranked number 15 or 14, something like that. Don't quote me on it. But this guy's getting the title shot. Now, I think a lot of that has to do for the fact that Adesanya has cleared out the whole division.
That's part of it, yeah.
So he's cleared the path for him to come to the front. But besides that, Dana White, hate him, love him, whatever you think of him.
Love the guy.
The guy and his team, their team makes fights that people want to see.
Absolutely, dude. That's the one thing about UFC. You're getting the fights you want to see, the best fight, the best.
They're not afraid to lose a train literally getting derailed, like the hype train.
Yeah.
I mean, Connor versus Aldo. If Connor lost, would Connor have been who he is today?
No.
There you go, right? But that's just a risk you take.
Yes, yeah.
And they're willing to take that risk as a company and not lose their gravy trains.
I think another appeal for, let's just say, for the 18 to 34-year-old for UFC over boxing is the 3 5-minute rounds. They're short fights. Sometimes in the boxing undercard, you get 10, 12 rounds, 8 rounds, and people don't want to sit through all that waiting for the main event, right? So UFC, they're
Well,
short fights and they keep them moving, right?
well, the only problem with that is we live in a silly. Well, I mean, we use the platform, but we live in a TikTok world now where everybody can only stay
Exactly.
tuned to something for 5 seconds and then they have to change, right?
Yeah. No, it's true.
So that's the unfortunate part. But hey, you know what? That's okay. We have to evolve with the times, and that's just the way the future is. Us old school guys will, continue on. Ricky Hatton has an exhibition fight this weekend. He's looking amazing, man.
He's looking good. He lost so much weight. Hats off to him. Only people forget how good Ricky Hatton is. He only ever has 2 losses in his whole career. Knocked out, obviously, cold by Manny Pacquiao, and then he lost to Floyd. That's pretty good resume when you say he lost 2 of the best of all time. He's a good
Wow.
fighter.
No, he's really good, man. Ricky Hatton was awesome. I loved watching him
He's fighting
when I was
Marco
a kid.
Antonio Barrera too, right?
Yeah, yeah, and he's also like, it's a bit of a love fest between the two
They're
right
good
now. It's
friends.
kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of cool
Yeah.
to watch. But
I'm
it's
gonna
an
watch that fight. I like both those guys.
Yeah, it'll be on the Zone this weekend, this afternoon. I don't know what time that particular fight will be on, but
That on Saturday?
that's a Saturday afternoon.
It's a
Yeah,
fun
that's
fight.
it'll
It's a
be a
fun
fun
fight.
fight. That
Nobody
card,
wants to lose. I just hope they don't do it like Mayweather. I hope they don't do it like Roy Jones and Mike Tyson. That was god awful to watch because Tyson wouldn't hit him in the head, Roy wouldn't hit him in the head. So they're just doing body shots. If you're gonna have a fight, then they should have a real fight. You know what I mean? That was not fun to watch. So I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't just dance around and do pot shots like a sparring match, and it's no fun, right?
well, I tell you what, man. I mean, you look at what Ricky Hatton was before he took this fight to what he
Oh,
is going
huge.
into this fight. I don't think either one of them, especially him, is not wanting to dance around and take body shots. I mean, this guy trained hard, man.
Oh, dude, his hands. I was watching it. His hands speed looks good, man. What
Yeah, I
is he?
was watching that as well. He was
Yeah, yeah,
hitting
yeah.
the mitts, right? That
Yeah,
video.
and then Barrera was in
Yeah.
the ring with the translator. Like, this is gonna be fun. They're 2 tough
No,
guys.
it's gonna be fun, man. I mean,
Like
the
this
best
fight.
thing they could do is, I'm not saying go full bore, but at least go 70% on each
I
other.
think they. Yeah, I hope so. I think they
You
will.
you
Because
don't you
these
don't
guys want to keep doing more exhibitions, right? So they want to put on a good show for everybody.
you don't
You know,
lose that you do not lose that much weight just to fucking dance around and cuddly body shots.
people forget he's a short guy. What is he, like 5'6", 5'7"? So that when you're that short, all that weight shows up even more when you're standing there, right? So
Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, you know what?
that's
This might
fun.
let and this is good for his boys because both his boys are fighting now as well. We got one of Hatton's boys, I believe, fighting on Sunday in Abu Dhabi, I think, right? Campbell Hatton.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
on that card, the undercard of the Floyd Mayweather versus YouTube sensation Deji.
How many
Wow.
rounds is this one? 4 rounds, 5 rounds?
I don't know. I
You
think
know,
four to six
it's
rounds, but
easy. Another easy win for Floyd. Pot shot, dance around a bit, make a couple million, call it a night.
that was a fun press conference. I don't know if you caught that or not, but if you
Didn't
can
know.
go back and watch it. There's this one guy up there. I should remember his name because I mean that guy tried so hard to be bigger and louder than everyone else, man.
Was
Pretty
he?
boy. Yeah, he goes. His tag name is Pretty Boy too, but that
Oh,
guy
nice.
just wouldn't shut up, man. He kept
I didn't see it.
talking. He kept talking over everyone, and then
What did Floyd say to that?
when Floyd came out, Floyd finally comes out, and it's kind of weird. Say what you want about Floyd, but the awe and the respect that all these
Oh yeah,
fighters
he knows how
had
to
in
put
their
on a show.
eyes,
Yeah,
right? Like he stood up and he basically talked to each guy in his press conference, right? He comes out and this guy who calls himself Pretty Boy, he's like, you know what? I understand what you're doing. I like it. Keep it up, right? Blah, blah, blah. And then he goes to the next guy. Hey, this is what I think. And he's kind of mentoring these guys as he's giving his own press
he's
conference.
a hell of an entertainer, man. He is. He knows what he's doing.
I mean, outside some of the domestic violence things that he did, I mean, quite frankly, the guy didn't really do anything wrong.
No, just beating up his woman, did 9 months in jail, but other than that, it's pretty...
I mean,
I know what you mean.
I don't know how to
I know what
explain
you're
it.
saying. He had the one blemish. He didn't do as bad as some other guys have done. I get what your point.
He's not as bad as a character as people make him out to be.
No, he's not. He's all entertaining. He's playing a villain role.
That's what I'm saying. But it just if you get him alone, like in that instance, you saw the real Floyd in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that sounded horrible. I'm trying to
No, I
backtrack
know what you're trying to say. He always
Oh,
says like, "Love me or hate me." You gotta
yeah.
watch him, which he's right.
No, he's fine. I mean, and I think a part of it is, man, it's all about the cockiness, right?
Oh yeah,
If you get slighted by a fighter's cockiness or whatnot, then they're doing their job. It's like a heel in wrestling, right? If you really
yeah,
truly hate the guy or can't stand him or are really looking forward to seeing the guy fail,
yeah.
like you start to blur the lines of work and shoot. That guy's that good. That's a, he's got to be able to see through it. And you know what? Even me, even at the best of times, sometimes I get suckered into go, man, that guy's a jackass, right? Like,
Yeah,
but you got to know better, right? So,
yeah. I think
respect.
I think we're gonna see a Pacquiao Mayweather exhibition here soon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, Pacquiao
Possibly.
is fighting on the 12th. If he says he looks good, he'll come back and fight in the pros again.
Well, I'd rather see him do that,
I
to
think
be
he's gonna
honest.
fight Errol Spence, dude. He wants that fight. Even though the eye thing happened, he wants that fight. It's a big payday for him, and if he feels good, he wants that fight.
I know, but here's the thing, man. After watching what Ugas did to him, and then watching what Spence did to Ugas,
I know.
like I get it, his legs weren't right, and he'll never, talk about it that way. I'm talking about Pacquiao,
Yeah,
but he went into that fight with a few ailments, man, against Ugas, right?
yeah.
I
Maybe
mean,
he's feeling good. Maybe he's feeling fresh. I
maybe
don't
he was
know.
feeling fresh, but just again, never say never,
He'll,
right?
he'll be the underdog for sure.
I
Yeah,
mean, at the end of the day, lest we forget as we head into Remembrance Day here. How do you
yeah.
like how I used that line? Pretty
That was
cool,
good.
right? Thanks,
Very
man.
good.
All right, all right. 10-9 on the scorecards for me so far. Where was I going with this? Where was I
Talking about
going?
exhibitions.
Exhibitions. Um, I almost feel that people forget about what George Foreman did at 40 something when he won the heavyweight title.
Pretty
So
impressive.
if Pacquiao, as Roy Jones said, you all forgot about me. You
Yeah,
all forgot about me. You can't forget that, no matter what, yeah, you might be a little slow, you might be a little,
yeah.
whatever the case may be, Mother Nature will catch up to you, but you still have your set. You still have your skills. You don't forget how to do your
No,
shit,
don't
right?
forget at 40, Pacquiao punched out Keith Thurman first round, knocked him down, beat him all night. So he can still go. That was 3 years ago, but so
But it's kind of funny. See, you bring that up, like you say, we got the mandatory with Spence and Pacquiao or Thurman now, right?
yeah,
It's kind of curious, like how that's going to be handled. Like if Thurman comes out and gets the shit kicked out of him, then I don't want to see that. But if
yeah.
Thurman puts up a good fight, and I'm not expecting him to win. For him to win, that'd be something spectacular, right?
It would be, yeah,
It'd have to be something really like that sweet spot on the chin or
yeah,
outpointing him.
oh,
That's
yeah.
you know, I don't know if I'd want to see Pacquiao fight against a Spence. Maybe some middle card talent or something like that. Not that he can dominate, but just to
I don't
make
think
it
he
more
will though. I think
interesting.
if he comes back, he's going against one of the top five big dogs, or he won't
Well,
bother.
you know what? And I'm
We'll see
okay
how he
with
looks
that
on
too,
December
though.
12th, though.
Well, I'm okay with that too, only for the fact that he's earned the right to fight whoever he
And you know, a
wants.
guy like Spencer Crawford will say yes because, like, hey, I get to knock off a legend, get some big money, hey, bring him in. So, but I'm not saying it'll happen. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm just really disappointed in Bud, man.
I
I
don't know
truly
what
am.
he's doing, man.
I am disappointed in Bud. Like I don't know what side is right or whose side is wrong. He said, she said. They're both saying whatever they want, right? I mean, Al Heyman, is he the bad guy in all of this or what? Like, I mean, why couldn't they make this fight, man? It was just too
It seems that
easy to
Spence,
make.
Spence is at least having a competitive fight.
Well, which
So,
leads me to believe that it was Crawford that was the catalyst to not letting this thing go
and he was
through.
the first one to come out and complain, "Oh, it's all Spence, it's all Spence." So he jumped the gun on that because he knew. So I think it's
Yeah.
more Crawford, but they should be fighting. It's a waste.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, I wanted to share something with you before I lose this thought. Uh, are you familiar with one Stephen Colbert?
I am. Yep.
Okay,
I
so
don't watch him, but I know who he is.
yeah, yeah. So he's the guy who took over for technically, I guess, David Letterman on the Late Show, is it called? Yeah, the Late Show.
Yep.
He had Bono on there recently.
Okay.
And Bono is the lead singer of U2, which just happens to be one of my favorite bands of all time. And Stephen Colbert asked him a question. It's like, have you ever gotten an autograph from anyone? Considering how big of a name he is and what he
Yeah.
is in the world. And he said, I've never told this story. And he goes, I asked for an autograph once in my life. And who he asked an autograph from?
Muhammad Ali, probably.
Absolutely. He asked an autograph from Muhammad Ali. And when Bono signs an autograph, he always draws a little picture.
What is he?
Yeah. And this is the story. So when Bono got the autograph from Muhammad Ali, Ali drew a little picture.
Oh, nice.
And ever since then, Bono's been signing his signature with a little picture there as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't
So
know that.
cool little story, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I got two of my two favorites right here.
Nice.
And now my third favorite, they're all connected.
That's cool. Yeah, I didn't know that's a cool little story.
It's a cool little story. Do you have any cool little stories?
I like that. I don't watch late shows. I mean, I used to once in a while Letterman here and there, a little bit of Letterman, but I don't bother the new guys.
Do you have any cool stories of what happened in boxing today?
I do, yeah, I do. There's a guy people might know by the name of Roberto Duran.
Roberto
Fought Mark,
Duran, no mas, no mas.
yeah, 39 years ago today. Fought Marvin Hagler in the beautiful Caesar's Palace. 15-round decision. He lost. Hagler came out on top. Good fight. It's on YouTube. You guys should go check it out. 15 rounds. They only do 12. I think 15 rounds is a little bit too long, but I mean, but these guys can go. These guys are warriors in the 80s.
Hey
So
man,
good
I tell
fight.
you what, man, that's when men
Really
were
good
men.
fight.
That's when men were men,
Yeah.
bro. Right? You know, I mean that's when dudes were real men.
Yeah.
Like I'll
Cool
stop
fight.
there.
So yeah, Hagler with the unanimous decision in Caesar's Palace, 83. Beautiful Las Vegas.
I think that was one of the best times in that division. You had Hagler, Duran, Leonard,
Burns.
Hearns. I mean, God. And there are probably another three or four guys in there who were just as, unfortunately, they were there at the wrong time, but they would
Yeah.
have been the head of that division if those four weren't there. Hagler, as you know, is my favorite boxer, and Duran's not that far off that list for me. So watching that fight, it's kind of bittersweet because I am cheering for Hagler, but at the same time, I'm kind of wanting
You
to
like
see
Duran
that.
too, yeah.
I love Duran, man. I mean, he's not underrated, but I don't think he's given enough credit a lot of the time.
Good fighter, tough guy, man. They're all tough dudes.
They're all tough, man. I mean, for him to say no more, that just crazy. This shows you how crazy that those four
He
were,
denies that to this day, eh?
huh?
He'll never admit that.
Well, you said it, man. No mas, no mas,
No, I know,
no
but he'll
mas.
never admit it now, though. He's like, I didn't say that. He tries to say
Yeah.
it.
Man,
He said it, though.
thank God for ABC's Wide World of Sports that were there to cover that fight, man. I mean, shit, that was fantastic. I
And think
mean,
about it, 39 years later, all the biggest fights most of the time are still in Vegas. Fight
yeah.
capital, all the gambling, all the hotels, people just everybody comes to that place to watch the fights from all over.
I'm surprised Atlantic City didn't have more fights. I mean, they have their
They
fights,
have a
but I
few, but
mean,
not like Vegas. Vegas got all the it's just so much bigger and better there. All the whole like I know Atlantic City's the same kind of idea, but Vegas just does it better. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, I'm
The
not saying they
weather and
don't. I'm just
yeah,
surprised that, Atlantic City doesn't have more of of uh of a history. I know they have their history,
yeah.
but you
I
know
know
what
what
I
you're saying.
mean,
Not like the
right?
Vegas history. Yeah,
Yeah, like I
I,
think New York history, Madison Square Garden has a stronger history than Atlantic City.
it does. Yeah,
Like, I mean, what would you say would for the East Coast, would it be New York
New
or
York.
Atlanta? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Probably
Madison Square Garden.
the Hulu Theater or whatnot, what have you.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, man. I mean, we basically talked a lot here
One more
about
thing.
this
Did you
and
see
that.
before we wrap this up? Did you see the Andrew Tate and Jake Paul little thing today?
I did not. Why don't you tell me about it?
I won't ruin it for you, but get it. They're getting each other's face. You're talking a little smack. The fight's going down pretty soon here, so should be
Wait,
a good fight.
Andrew Tate and Jake Paul?
Andrew Tate and Jake Paul, and they announced it today.
Really, it got
Yep.
announced.
They met face to face today.
Oh, really? When's this for?
Yep.
January, February?
They didn't. I don't know if they announced the official date. If they did, I didn't hear it. I was working, kind of skimming through it. But they're fighting. They're already doing the smack talk and
Boxing?
boxing. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
And,
Because I
and
know
Tate's a former world champion kickboxer, so
well, no. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm asking. Is it boxing or kickboxing?
yeah, boxing.
It's interesting that he's taking that fight, considering that his older brother and him are the ones that have the beef.
Yeah, and Logan's actually not a bad boxer. He went in there with Floyd Mayweather. He's not as good as Jake, but he went there with Floyd and lasted whatever how many rounds they made.
I personally, here's my thing, man. I think Logan should just stick to wrestling, forget boxing.
No, he is. He's not doing boxing. Jake's taking that, but I'm saying Logan wasn't bad. Not as good as Jake.
But I mean,
you're going to see Jake Paul at WrestleMania. I'll tell you right now. I guess he's going to go to a tag team match going on or something. He'll be there, especially because it's in Hollywood. The Paul brothers there, who's Usos or something.
I don't think Logan's going to be ready for.
If Logan's able to go, if he's not able to go, then no.
That puts a damper on everything because I mean I can honestly tell you that probably would have been the match, the Usos against the Usos against those guys.
That'd been cool.
In some form. I think that's would have been awesome. But I just don't see him unless he's got John Cena healing powers. There's no way he could be ready, especially with those injuries.
Yeah, probably not.
Right?
It's too bad because he was doing good, but he'll be back.
Yeah, no, he'll be back. I mean, I'm really happy to see. Like I said, I've been telling everybody. People have come and asked me, just to ask me, just texting me, hey, what did you think of Logan Paul? Because they know, how I feel about wrestlers and people
Yeah.
coming in and not respecting the art form and, just kind of faking it. And I was the first one to admit to everyone. I admitted it here on the show. The guy fucking did amazing. And I'm really proud of him. And I'm proud
Yeah.
that he respects the business. And, as long as he continues to do that, fuck yeah, man. Keep going, bro. Keep going.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've always supported the Paul brothers from day one. Even when I was in the gym the other day, everybody's like, "Damn!" Like I'm not their biggest fan, but I've always supported them in boxing and wrestling. And they're like, "Damn, dude, these Paul brothers are doing good." So I told you guys, watch them train. You'll see how good they can go.
no,
So
no, no, look, I'll still
cool.
maintain, like I've said from day one. I mean, Jake Paul, fight a boxer, and I'm fully converted. But that's my only thing, right? I mean, he's looked great. He's training hard. I love what he's
Yep.
doing. I want to see him test those skills and that training that he's doing against legitimate talent. I'm not saying he has to fight A level, B level, fight a C level fighter. Just fight someone who's completely dedicated to the sport as you are. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he
Other than
will. He'll
that,
get there.
all and other than that, yeah, I mean he's doing really good. Uh Andrew Tate and him, that just kind of caught me by surprise, man. That's
Oh,
11.
dude, it's gonna be a big fight. The way these guys are gonna trash talk and build this hype, be a lot. Remember, Andrew Tate's rich. He's got a lot of followers. Jake Paul's got a lot of followers.
Yeah,
It's
didn't he
gonna be a
make
good
all
fight.
this money off of adult cameras? Something
I'm
like
not sure
that?
how he made all
Yeah,
his
yeah,
money.
yeah, yeah. I
He's
know
got
he
a lot
didn't
of
make
money though.
he didn't make the money off of fucking kickboxing, I'll tell you that.
No, 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 no,
Right?
no.
You know what? Here's the thing, man. I'll be honest. I am gonna be a Jake Paul supporter for this one because I don't care for Andrew Tate at all.
I've heard a lot about him. I haven't really listened to what he
I've
says, and some
watched
of the things
I've
I agree with.
I've watched some of the interviews that he's done. I watched the one that he did with Piers Morgan. My only problem with him is that I'm not saying he's wrong in his views. Everyone's entitled to their opinions and stuff. I just don't appreciate how he's trying to gain a following from children,
Yeah,
right? That's where a lot of his fame is coming from. That's where a lot of his clicks are coming from.
yeah,
It's just like, oh yeah, you know, I know him as a kickboxer or what have you, but kids know him as this guy that says cool shit.
yeah. He's banned from every social media platform, eh?
Right. Yeah. So I mean, from that perspective, I mean, it just comes down to that whole thing again. It's like be entitled to your opinion, be entitled to what you believe in. You believe what you believe in, I believe what I believe in, but at the end of the day, we respect each other and
Yeah,
our beliefs, right?
yeah.
Okay. But when you start influencing children, that's where I have a problem. And that just think that spectrum covers everything.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate having children being influenced at school unless it's like education based, like this is how you do math, this and that.
Yeah.
I'm referring to more the social aspects of life, right? I believe
Yeah.
that's a parent's job to educate their children and to kind of share the family view, I guess you could call it, but kind of leave it at that and let your children formulate their own views, right?
Totally agree. Yep.
You
I
know,
totally agree with you.
having everything force fed and kind of pushed down your throat, and you come home and you tell your parents that this is what they say we have to believe in at school. I don't agree with that at all. So
Me
that
either, dude.
that would be my only knock on Andrew Tate. Other than that, preach on, brother. Say what you have to say. I mean, I'm in no place to tell you what's right or wrong. I believe what I believe. I think you believe what you believe,
Yeah.
and just leave the kids out of it. That's all I'm going to say.
I agree with you 100%. It's going to be a good fight. I look forward to the trash talk. Can't wait to see
I
it.
can't wait, man. I mean, this is one time
Check it out on
I'm saying
YouTube there. It went down the
I will
drain.
after I go down, man. Like I said, we just came home from work and we fired up
Yeah.
the old Google box here and to get the show out for the fans.
Yeah.
And I will go back. But that's the thing. I didn't even see an alert or anything today for it.
So much things going on every day, so it's hard to find it out. But yeah, it happened today.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, but Bleacher Report didn't have anything on it. I get all these alerts all day long about this, that, and the
Yeah.
other. I didn't see anything on that one. Chance. I mean, here we are, man. It's a long weekend. I don't know. Do we wish people a happy Remembrance Day or
Remember to
what's
say, yeah.
is it a happy Remembrance Day? Okay, so everyone, happy Remembrance Day. Here we are, November the 11th. Tomorrow we will take a moment to remember those who gave their lives so that Chance and I can do a podcast.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, more or less, right? I mean, at the end of
Yeah.
the day, So thank you to all those people who have served, that are currently serving. It means the world to us.
I'm actually in the room right now. My grandpa who fought in World War II and in the Korean War. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow. So
yeah,
your grandpa's respect to your granddad, man. Thank you.
yeah. Lived to 91 years old.
Grandpa Cartwright.
No, Grandpa Hutton, my mom's dad. He
Oh,
told me
okay.
two things. He goes, "You never." He's like, he never sat. He always sat at the restaurant with his back to the wall, so we could get him from like other people fight you. And he always said one saying: "Keep your mouth shut, your balls open, and never volunteer." The reason why he would say never volunteer, most of the guys in World War II, what they do, they volunteer. That's kind of, we'd always say that to me. Even I lived till I was like 28, so he'd always say that: keep your mouth shut, your balls open, and never volunteer.
So you were
So
able to spend a lot of time with him as a kid
I
growing
lived
up, I
with him
guess.
from 92 to 2007 until he died.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Oh, fantastic. So
lived
it's
in the basement.
a lot of his stories. He probably had a lot of crazy stories, man.
Yeah, I heard some pretty good ones. Yeah, Korean War too. So yeah, I heard a few good things.
So
A few bad things, but
what did he do in World War II?
he drove the transport trucks. Yeah, the transport trucks, did some artillery stuff.
Oh, okay, okay.
Whatever
So
was asked of him,
where
a
was
lot of
he
stuff.
in France, or was he stationed in Europe?
All over, dude. He went
All over,
Germany.
eh?
Yeah, he
Wow,
was
eh?
in Japan, France,
So the Korean
D-Day.
War was about 10 years later, something like that, right?
Korean War was
Roughly.
in the 50s.
Yeah, yeah. So about 5 to 10 years later. Um, why did he go back? Did you ever
He already
ask
served
him?
in World War II, and he just felt it was his duty, I guess. Back then, men were different, right? He
Well, no,
said
back
almost,
then, right?
I don't know the exact number, but he said basically everybody in World War II on the Canadian side volunteered.
Really, eh?
He wanted to do it. He was going to be a pilot, but his eyes weren't good enough.
Oh, okay.
So he had to do that.
Well,
So, yeah.
did he ever touch on any of the mental health issues or anything that he kind of dealt with?
No, no, they don't talk like that.
They didn't talk like that, right?
Oh, I never
Men,
heard.
men.
Pretty much, yeah, I never heard say anything about any of that kind of stuff.
Wow. Well, you
So I
know what?
never asked either, but
I salute you, Grandpa. Grandpa,
yeah.
sorry, Grandpa, what was his last name?
Hutton,
Oh,
Hutton.
Grandpa Hutton. Thank you, Grandpa Hutton, for your
Yep,
service and your shining down on your grandson. Thank you for everything, and thank you to all the other veterans that have put the time and
absolutely.
effort and energy out there to, protect us, right?
100% agree. Well
Uh,
said.
my grandfather was in the war as well, my dad's dad.
Oh,
So
nice.
I don't know what he did or what role he played, but I mean, he was in the army. My dad was in the army as well. Um, but I don't think there was many conflicts going on too much at that point. But
Still serving the country. It's an honored thing to
maybe
do,
for
right?
my grandfather, but I don't know too much about what my dad's service was. Unfortunately, we never talked about it too much.
Okay.
The only thing I know that he did in the army was box. So
Yeah, there's a lot of tough guys back then.
yeah, yeah. So my dad was a boxer, amateur boxer. So that's where my love for the sport is.
Yeah.
Chance Michaels, I tell you what, brother man, let's wrap this puppy up.
Oh,
Let's get going and enjoy the long weekend. Any adult beverages in line for you this weekend, my friend?
no, I got to work tomorrow. I got to go to hockey at the kid here pretty quick, and I got to work tomorrow. So,
Okay, I'll get you going because I see a little head popping up at the corner of the screen there. So I will roll away from you here. Brother man, thank you. It's been a slice. I am Bobby
yeah, good one.
Sampson. I am Bobby Sampson.
And in the words of the great ACDC, those that download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you and salute the veterans.
And we do salute you. We salute the veterans, that Chance Michaels. And in the words of Ed Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, we will see you guys Tuesday afternoon. Adios, muchachos. Have a great long weekend.